Okay, today we're going to be taking a look at Transformers Combiner Wars Hotspot. This guy is great. Look at him, and in the packaging you got this little bit of glare right here, but I love this guy. He has got a really complex transformation. None of these 7 or 8 steppers. I think it's 17 steps for both different the forms that he can be in, so it's a really good transformation. Very pleasing if that's what you like to do, if you like to do the transformation more than the posing and the playing with the guys. We'll get into him in a little bit. With this, again, this is Transformers Combiner Wars Hotspot. He is the nucleus of Defensor. Yes, so he is the big body part here, and he is himself here as a robot, and here he is as the fire truck. You can see 17 steps, and it is a transformation. I really like this guy. I don't have the rest of Defensor's little pieces yet, or the Protectobots, but I'm really ready to get to them because this guy is fantastic. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what's inside. Again, we have the normal dark coloring. You can see he looks really ominous, and even his face sculpt, when you take a look at, looks really good. I'm a big fan of the face sculpt. He just looks like he's ready to seriously kick some butt. Here's some of the Defensor artwork. Now let's get into the package. Now, like the earlier edition from G1, he comes with 2 guns, which you can see right here. And I'll show those in just a second. And then we have him himself out of the package. So in the package, again, we have a little card back here that has him, but it has just an Autobot symbol on the back, which is kind of worthless. Give me some specs, and you have the instruction booklet back here in the back. Of course, these are Voyagers, and the Voyagers do not come with comics. Okay. So let's put him right here for now. Oop. And let's take a look at the weaponry. So for the weaponry, we basically have 2 semi-identical guns. You can see they are molded almost exactly the same. However, this guy has a little knob right here that you can put into the barrel of this guy, and together they form the big gun for Defensor. Okay, otherwise they're virtually identical, except they are opposites. See how they line up like that? They'll put both on him when he's in either more in a robot or when he's a fire truck. When he comes out of the package, he looks great. There's a little bit of transformation that's wrong. This right here tabs into this piece. So if you want, you can just do that. So because we'll go over to the robot mode first, and then we'll go into his alt mode. All right. So here he is in his robot mode. The only thing that you have a little bit different than some of the other guys, well, I guess for almost all of them you have some kibble, but it does pull him back a little bit. You have some of this kibble back here. You can see from the back of the fire truck. So that does pull him just a little bit. And, you know, it's kind of unsightly, but that's the way it is. I mean, the guy's a hook and ladder, so, I mean, that's just gigantic, and there's no other way you can get around that. So here he is in his form, and let's pull up the box of what he looks like from G1. Okay, so from G1, I'll get this right in here. Here he is. I'm not sure. There you go. And you can see he looks somewhat similar. Of course, he looks a little bit better because the G1s were pretty simplistic transformations, but he actually looks pretty decent, and the guns will hold the same way. So let's go ahead and take a look at him, and then we'll look at the transformation. So if you want to put both guns in, obviously, he looks pretty sweet like that. I'm put him in backwards, but whatever. Oops. Ugh. Lost a gun. Okay, so here he is with both his guns. And you can do some pretty sweet poses. I love the guys that come with 2 identical guns. You know, you can just do some really cool stuff. And this guy poses really well too, by the way. So, I'm a big fan of that. Okay, so let's see what we have on him. In terms of paint sculpt, there is a lot of painting on here. So obviously both of his shoulders are painted with the silver and red. You got good painting in his face. Now mine looks like he's got a little bit of a scratch on his eye, but it almost looks like a scar. And look at that face. The face reminds me of Optimus Prime, but he's got those eyes and the slants that make him look like he's really ready to kick some butt. Obviously he's got the Autobot logo. He's got silver painted within the red here. He's got some black around his belt area. And then you have some other painting here, and this is more from the actual fire truck. Although this is not seen in the fire truck mode, only here when he is the actual robot. So that's pretty cool. I kind of like that. I think that's pretty neat that they actually did that when they didn't need to. And you have some black here again, and this stuff right here, this is not seen, which is pretty cool. It's really detailed. There's a lot of detailed stuff on this guy, and that's not seen when he is in the alt mode. So that's actually a nice little touch. All right, so in terms of what he can do, head is on a ball joint. He can't really look up, but he can look down and he can look back and forth, no problem. Okay, shoulders are on a ratchet here. Can hold them up as well. You have a swivel at the elbow. You can move at the elbow or even a little above the elbow. You have two different joints there. This one's a ratchet and this one's just a free moving. And the hand and forearm, no movement at all. It's just molded plastic. In terms of the waist, there is no waist articulation. Legs, however, can do everything most of the normal legs can for these collectors type of toys. You can move it back and forth. It's on a ratchet. You can spin it. That's free spinning. And then you can move this any number of ways here in terms of the ankle. And the feet, they clip in, so they're kind of set. So this guy can move pretty good. My guy, I would say he is a little weak right here in the knees. Those are really easy moving parts here, and I can get him to flip over easy, and so he's kind of falling a lot. So it is kind of nice to have that ladder there, even though he's slightly leaning back. You see, he's slightly leaning back with using the ladder. So if I had a complaint right now in the robot form, that would be it. I think he could stand a little bit better. Alright, so now that we've seen what he can do, let's take a look at him in his alt form. Let's remove the guns. Now it's 17 steps, but half of those steps are duplicates because you're doing them on both sides. So let's go ahead and pull the head down. It hides inside like that. Obviously you can see that both the shoulders are going to go up like this. And then since obviously this is the top, you rotate them in and you can see there's the wheels. Now here's kind of a tricky part right here. You have to wait to put them in right away because you're going to turn this whole thing. See this little piece right here? This goes down and then there's two little slots here and that's where these little pieces are going to go. Okay, so put that back, which makes it difficult because with this back like this, it's kind of hard to see how to get them put in. That one's in, but the second one is always a little problematic for me. And you can hear a snap when it finally goes in. You just kind of have to move it around. There we go. All right, so then you can bring this piece up, make sure it's turned the right way. There you go. You can see that's nice and tight. So now you can see underneath his undercarriage and his hands. So that forms the back of him. Now let's do the front. The front is basically the same, except you're going to swivel these so the wheels are on the outside. And then bring them up. Oh, hang on. There we go. So these actually move back inside. So watch, it goes in like this and then down. All right, so again, this one is also kind of weird fitting. There's this little piece here in the middle. It needs to go into this little groove while this piece goes on the inside. So again, it's easy to get one in. Okay, so that one's the way it's supposed to be. And you get the second one in. Oh, that one actually worked pretty well that time. A lot of times I have some trouble with it, but this time I didn't. So now the feet are like this. You go and just move them down and they snap in. You can see this little piece right here. It snaps in right along there, covers it basically. And then you can just squeeze the whole thing together. Oops. There we go. Squeeze the whole thing together. And there's your hook and ladder. Okay. Now, what you have right here in this back, this is actually Defensor's head. You can't really see it there, but if you look here, there you can see his head sculpt. So what you want to do is you want to flip open the top of his head, kind of like you're in Indiana in the Temple of Doom and you're eating the monkey brains. You want to just kind of fold it like this, and somebody can sit in here. You know, if you have like a little smaller figure, you can sit somebody in there, and they can go ahead and, you know, whatever, if you have a little Target Master or something like that. So that's the way that works. Oops, this guy. Okay, so you have, I don't know if you can see here, when I am pushing it, almost all the wheels are rolling except for this guy. This guy has a hard time, there he goes. But you can see all 4 of the wheels actually rolling, and it rolls pretty good. That's not too bad. Let's take a look at the paint apps. So obviously we have the sirens. We saw those from before when he was transformed. You have the fire rescue with the Autobot symbol, a nice little line of red. You have some silver here at the front, black paint for the top of the windows and on the side, and then same thing on the other side. So, and actually I like him better in robot mode a lot more because he has a lot more paint apps. Now, if you want to look at the guns first, the guns can go in 2 places. So this right here is kind of like a hose. So that shows you which side should be on which. So you can put it either around here, like this, or I think how they show it on the actual packaging is you put it into this little hole, peg it into here. Like that. So this right here is very soft plastic. And it's not the rubbery plastic, but it is very soft. So let's see what it can do. So if you want to actually use this part, if you want to use the hook and ladder, you can't pull it up right now because these 2 things are tabbed into it. So hold on to here and untab it, and it's a pretty tight tab. Okay, and now you can still kind of keep them kind of closed up, but now if you want to, you can lift that up, and you can see how the hook and ladder can really move. It does not extend, but it does move quite a lot. Okay, so you can really do a lot of stuff with it. I mean, you can bring it up a little bit more. No, just a little bit more. There we go. So you can bring it up a little bit like that, and that's pretty cool. Okay, so let's take a look at what we're going to... Oh, you know what? Let me put that back down. Let me give you an idea of what it looks like compared to the original now that we have it. Let's fold this back up. Okay. So you have this fire truck. He's long, he's lanky, and here is the G1. Now, I would actually say the G1 did a little bit better job of making him look into like a hook and ladder truck. It's pretty nice looking. You can see how he looks there, and from the picture, and here he is on the inside the actual box. Now, if you want to see a size comparison, here he is here, and now here he is here. So obviously the size is way different. It's probably twice the size. So it looks pretty decent, but I don't think it looks as good. Of course, these guys, the original G1s, they all looked great for the most part in their alt modes, but their robot modes really suffered because they didn't put in the joints and everything they needed to. So this guy looks good there, but he's kind of a pain to play with in terms, and he's not very posable. Whereas this guy, I think he looks okay for what he is here. He's just really long and lanky, but it's a pretty good design. I mean, and for a Voyager, it's completely fine. All right, so let's take a look at how we transform him now into the upper half of Defensor. So first of all, you're going to want to break apart this up here. So you got to pull this open, and now you want to bring this down like this. Okay. So the tricky part now, let's go ahead and move these legs out, open them up, move them out of the way. So the tricky part now is this whole piece goes completely around him. Okay, so if we open that up, gotta take this open, okay, because this is going to be his body. So you want to move these down. Oops, sorry, it is like this. Sorry, I moved out of the range there for a second. Let's put this up a little bit. Okay, so what you're going to do now is you're going to move this down. There we go. Sorry, so this goes down. This goes. All right, so it's like this. This piece goes down. Now you see this little piece. You break this and break that. Comes all the way around. Comes here, and then the head. The head and this whole piece pops up right here. So you turn the head around. There's his head. You see there's these two little tabs underneath here. They tab into this little section here and here. So go ahead and tab those in. There you go. He fits pretty good. And then these two pieces right here, they just kind of sit there. They don't tab in anywhere. They just sit. Now you have this on the side. See this little opening here? That tabs into this. I mean, so this guy fits pretty tight once you get him together here. Tab the other side in. Okay. And now you can bring the arms down and bring them back behind him. Oh. I am forgetting something here. Forgetting a tab here somewhere. Oh well. Anyway, so they go back there behind him like that. And now you're going to do the legs. And the legs are actually pretty easy. You're going to go ahead and flip these back up like he was before in the Transformers mode. And then you just put him in there like that. Okay, so this is him in the combiner mode. Now, one thing you'll have to do before you pull him out is remember, you have to have these out because this is where the arms and the limbs go. Like that. And then you have this to pull down like this, and this is where the hands go. So that is him in the mode for what you're looking for when he's going to be in. Obviously he's not going to stand up very well there because he's not meant to, but this is going to be him when you're going to make him into Defensor. So it's pretty cool. He's got a nice look to him. Obviously now you can go ahead and put the two guns together, and that's not a big deal at all. And you can see this is going to look like a pretty good guy. And I really like the paint apps here. So you see him, if you can see the head, see he's almost got like these scars on both sides of his face. Got a lot of definition in his cranium. He's got a little Autobot symbol right there, along with this extra paint app right here and down here. And he just looks really good. From the back, yeah, there's, you know, it looks a lot like the G1 actually from the back. You know, so that's not all that different, but it really does look pretty good. There's something I'm forgetting with these hands, but that's just doesn't really matter. The hands don't come into play; they just hang out behind him. But he looks really good. And then transforming him back into the bot mode from this is actually pretty simple. You just go ahead and bring this whole piece back. You're going to want to rotate. Going to bring his head out. Ugh. Bring his head out, arms down, because see, for that mode, for when you put him into the Defensor, I don't know if you call it alt mode or second robot mode, it is pretty straightforward because it just all fits together. And then let's see, what am I doing here? Yeah, there we go. That's right, so you put this up here, and then you twist the whole thing upside down. There we go. And one thing you probably want to do is you're going to want to switch the head like that so you don't see it. So if you go ahead and put these in here like this, there you go. That is him in the major form. Looks pretty good. All right. Please give me a thumbs up, give me a like. Thanks a lot for watching. Subscribe to this, and if you want, pick this guy up. He's a good buy. All right, until next time, adios.